Hi everybody, my name is Isela Gerald. I am the online curriculum coordinator for United ISD. This is my last hurrah. I flipped positions, so it was just a flip of positions. My new Odysseyware person for online curriculum is going to be Christina Alejandro. She's sitting over there. But we're still in the same office, we're still in the same department. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact either one of us and we'll get you the information that you need. Let me know if I'm talking too fast or too much. I have a tendency to run out of time. So if someone, I know lunch is very important. It's very important to me. So if I'm running a little late, just let me know so I can speed it up. Today I'm going to talk to you all about Odysseyware and using it for different, thinking outside of the box. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Can everyone hear me okay? Yes? Okay. Our district has been using Odysseyware since 2007. So we've grown with the company, we've seen how wonderful the product is and how we've been able to tailor it for our needs because our district has specific needs that we use it for and we like to put parameters so it's not just kind of a free rein. And is there anybody here that's not from Texas? Okay, in Texas, we have our own curriculum, so we like to make sure that we do follow through if we're putting it on a transcript, okay? But Odysseyware does have Common Core as well. All right, so I wanted to give you all a little bit of information about our school district before I even talked about how we're using Odysseyware a little differently. I'm sorry, it's kind of giving feedback when I get close.
We're trying to get feedback, sorry about that.
A little bit about United Independent School District. We are the 25th largest district in the state of Texas. We have a population of over 43,000 students, and we have never gotten the memo that there was like a home crisis and building and economics, the economy kind of slowed down because we just continue to grow. And every time I get in the car, because I don't like to go shopping in person, I do everything online. So whenever I do end up getting in the car and going, I'm like, oh my God, that's new. Oh my God, that's new. So everything is just booming right away. So we are expected to grow. We service 2,498 square miles of Webb County. So there is one school district that's kind of housed in the center, and we service everything around it. So it's pretty much the size of Rhode Island twice. For our 2017-18 school year, we have opening up for this new school year. We've already had our 4 high schools, but our high schools are so large that 3 of those high schools now have a 9th grade campus specifically just for the 9th grade population. One of them had already been around because the grade levels are more than 1,000 kids per grade level. So United High School had been with 1,000 students, but now we have the other 2 district campuses that are opening for next year. And we did have a bond approved, so we're still growing. We have 9 middle schools, and one of our middle schools is so large, they have 1,000 kids per grade level, so we have a 6th grade campus specifically for them. We have 28 elementary campuses. We have an alternative campus for the students that get placed there. And then we also have the residential facilities for the drug rehab. So we have the youth village, the detention center, and we have a memorandum of understanding with the county alternative school. And they're in our district, so we service those kids. Now our Webb County Alternative Education, they have their teachers, but they still use our product. They use Odysseyware, okay? Continuing in a little bit of information about ourselves, our TAPR, the Texas Accountability, this is coming from last year. You know, it comes out in August, so we don't have current data until August for this past year. We are 98.7% Hispanic. The state's 52%. We're 76.7% economically disadvantaged, and the state of Texas is at 59 for public schools. Our ELL population is 39.5%, about 17,000 plus students. The state of Texas is at 18.5. Our at-risk population for dropping out is 63.4%, and the state's at 50. Our graduation rates in 2014 was 93.8 versus the state at 88.3. And in 2015, we were at 94.1, and the state was 89. We're always a year behind on accountability, so we won't get 2016 graduation until August. I wanted to show you all this because we have, like I said, we service such a large area. We have affluent neighborhoods, but we don't have schools, high schools, or campuses that service just those affluent communities because it's peppered throughout. So you'll see, for example, up here we have, that's Regency Park. The homes there are $500,000 just to start out. And if you drive about 3 miles, that also goes to that same high school, you have base housing. We used to have an Air Force base, it's closed, but housing is still there. It's kind of like low-income project housing. We have Lakeside, Manor Apartments. This is JSJ Estates. My favorite house about 2 blocks away from me, that is Winfield Estates. I love that house. Cherry Hill Apartments. We also have apartments on the railroad tracks. So, I mean, we are on a border city, so we have a lot of import-export. When I went to go take the pictures, the school bus was dropping off the summer schools, the kids. And all of these subdivisions and more feed into the same affluent school. Then we also have our campuses with the most need. So I wanted to show you that. These 2 rural towns, because they're not really part of Laredo, but they are right outside of Laredo and they're in the county, so they come to our school district. El Cenizo and Rio Bravo are the 2 rural towns with the most need. So all of these, bless you, all of these houses, these schools, these subdivisions come into our school. You'll see right here, and these are actual houses where our students are living. You'll see this is one of the nicer houses. This is the entrance for Rio Bravo. You have, this trailer doesn't have the door, but people are actually living there. And here I wanted to show you all, this is the river. So if you're going down where the houses end and you just continue to drive a little, this is the actual Rio Grande River, and across that is Mexico. So right here, you'll always see a lot of Border Patrol agents just coming back and forth in that. These communities go to our schools. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about that with our at-risk population in just a second. Are there any questions for me so far? I just wanted you all to have an idea of what our school district looked like. A little bit of information about Odysseyware. This information does not include our alternative settings, because once we start adding in our alternative settings, we're already at 1,000+ students. But for our 4 high schools and our 1 STEP Academy, which is our district alternative, in 14-15, we had 755 non-duplicative students in an Odysseyware class. In 2015-16, we had about 743. And this past year, we have 733 students. The reason that it may have dropped is because we're bringing up the rigor and the structure, and I am also a certified counselor. So when the counselors start asking for classes, and they're kind of like trying to blanket the kids into Odysseyware, I'm able to ask them, okay, why are you giving it to them in Odysseyware during after school when you can give it to them during a regular block, things like that. So that might be why they've dropped out. Now, from the classes that they've asked for, full credits, 54%, and half credits, 49%. If you'll notice, this past year, we had 63 full credits that were recovered or attained, and we have 57% that were half credits. Our district is not a traditional setting. We're on accelerated block. So the kids take the class in the 18-week course, and they're done with a full credit. So if they start in August, by the end of December, they've already completed the English class. We're 90-minute blocks. Well, now we're 70-minute blocks. So they get 2 days in 1 day, okay? So we have the Odysseyware for those students that they're able to recover those credits. I wanted to give you a little bit of information about the 2 at-risk populations, or the different populations, and what we're using Odysseyware for. We do have the teachers in our classrooms. We have to have, in the state of Texas, students have to receive instruction with direct face-to-face instruction. But you and I both know sometimes we have highly mobile students, we have the students that are constantly absent, we have the students that have the conflict with the teachers, and so they may have passed the class, but they didn't get the grade. And that's where the credits come in. But then we also have a different type of population, because I said that we're 98.7% Hispanic, and we have a large mobile LEP population and migrant students that go places for their parents to work and them work, we also decided to think outside the box with how we can help our students attain those credits so that when they come in November, remember we're accelerated, so that means they'll only have 1 month left before they get their credit. So we decided to use Odysseyware, and really and truly it does take a village to raise a child so that we can keep them on track from not dropping out. I want to show this video. It is clipped, and one of the students that comes out in this video is our actual student. She was actually our student. Okay, so.
I don't know, but I can try. I can try.
This is one of the areas we service. This film was a production by Ava Longoria. She was one of the people that was involved in the production. They did follow the migrant workers. The little girl Zulema was our student. She did go to our schools. And as you saw, 2/3 of the students end up dropping out. So we had a very strong migrant education program coordinator that would come to me and she would say, don't say no, but I'm going to, and she was their voice. So it really does take a village to raise a family. She would contact the school districts where the parents said that they were going to migrate to. She would work with those counselors. She'd hire one of our teachers to work after hours, and we'd make sure that we gave them those courses. She'd even provide the Wi-Fi and the laptop if she needed to. We'd have a teacher that would work after hours and pay them through federal programs money, so that when they came back, they would not be behind, and they wouldn't have that, where they're just like, I want to help my family and I need to go to work, but we were also telling them, yes, but you need to get an education and you need to have opportunities, and then you decide what you're going to do in the future. And Odysseyware was one of the ways that we were able to work with that. Our migrant population at UISD is about 125 students, K through 12. And out of those 125, 45 of them are 9th grade through 12th grade. Our students have migrated to Michigan, to North Dakota, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arizona, even North Texas. This is also one of our students. Her name was Odysseyware. This is in North Texas. It was, I believe, 2 summers ago. She was picking cotton. The migrant education program coordinator would actually go and she would tell the parents they need to stay in school. I'm going to get her some classes. Miss Gerald's going to enroll her in. I got a teacher. We're going to check on her. And she actually did graduate. I'm really happy about that. Over the past 2 years with Odysseyware program, we've serviced about 19 students that have stayed committed and actually finished out high school. And the UISD Migrant Education Program works with schools in the different areas, and it's all of us that make sure that it's a collaborative effort to give these kids what they need. I mean, it's not just about instruction, but it's about making them self-sufficient and giving them opportunities for their future. These are some sample. I did change. She's not with us anymore, so these were actual emails, and I wanted to put them in here because I just wanted you to see the back and forth between the counselor at the other school, the Migrant Education Program Coordinator, myself, the teachers. Our teachers that we have in Odysseyware are top-notch teachers. They're very committed. And you can text them at 10 o'clock at night. The little girl, Odysseyware, she was picking cotton, and we changed phones, so I don't have the texts anymore. But she was texting the teacher that was getting paid through federal programs. She would text her at 7 and say, I just got in, I'm gonna shower and help my mom make dinner for my brothers and sisters. I'm gonna log in at 10. So then the teacher would tell her, okay, I'm gonna open it up at 10, and when you're done, you let me know so that I can close it. So they worked back and forth, and she just kept doing her assignments. And this is after she was out in the fields picking cotton all day, then came home and helped her mom make dinner for her brothers and sisters. So when she finished her class, she said, okay, I'm ready for my next assignment. The teacher said, you finished, you got the credit. She was like, I got the credit. I can't believe I got the credit. So when she came back to us, she was not behind cohort anymore. So you'll even see the teacher that says, I've already added Stephen Buck into the system. Once the boys have their laptops, I'll need to talk to them to tell them how they're going to be logging into the program. This is an email that the Migrant Program Coordinator sent to the school district where the students were going to be attending, and she mentions how they're enrolled at UISD and how Odysseyware will give the students the opportunity to accrue the credits that they need for graduation. So I just wanted to show you some samples of what we've done. Yes. She would try and get them to enroll so that way when they would come back. So if she knew, for example, that I was going to move to Michigan, she was a little tick. She would go to the parents and she would tell them it's because you don't understand. These kids need to be in school. And the parents sometimes would say, but they need to work. I'm not going to take the work away from them if they need to. Just tell me where you're going to be at, and I'll find. And she would Google, and she would find out. I can't remember what school it was, but she would find out where they were going to be, and she would just start picking up the phone and asking, like, I have some kids that are going to be coming in. They're in the Migrant Education program. They're probably going to be in your area. Can we enroll them in there? The parents have agreed to let them in. Or can they just come for 2 hours and you set up a laptop? Or can I give them the laptop? I'm going to give them the laptop. I'm going to give them the Wi-Fi access. I just need for them to have a building, or I just need for them to have an adult there to make sure that they're doing okay, somebody that can speak to our teacher. So we did it all different kinds of ways. Sometimes the parents didn't, and I know that she hired somebody to actually go to the fields, and that truck would be parked there at the field during the break, and the child would go into the trailer truck and take the classes there, and then come back out after and continue to work. That one was enrolled, not enrolled in UISD. So we would award the credits that were on Odysseyware. And then whatever credits they attained, whether they were half credits, we would try and work around with their schedule, because remember, Texas is not Common Core, so Texas is TEKS-based. So we would try and get them away from a Common Core, away from a core curriculum, like your English and your maths, your science and your social studies. We would try and get them not to take those classes if possible, so that when they came in, they would get the Texas, and also try and have them in classes that were not going to be tested. Because remember, when they come in and we're on accelerated block, if I'm in an algebra class and I come in November, I have to test algebra EOC. So we would try and work around with that. And that's why I was telling you, because it really does take the village to raise the child, because it had to be a lot of people in place and committed. We have that too at our alternative campuses. And so as long as they're within our UISD, we're able to pick them up with Odyssey wherever they left off. And then we work very closely. No, we haven't. But we did have a little foster child. She was at the scan. She was at a residential facility, but she was going to be 18, and they were going to let her out. So we tried to get her as many classes. We talked with the scan director so that we could have her after hours, so she could continue. And they agreed to let her be in the office so that she could take her classes, so that she could at least get her diploma, so that when she left or when they kicked her out, she'd at least have a high school diploma and have options. It's a good question. Any others? Sure. I want to share this story with you all, because this child, Jose, had been coming in and out. He was a migrant child, and he had so many excessive absences that they ended up having to do, I can't remember what it's called, a leaver absence, where his mother was ill, he was the breadwinner, so it's like a mandatory withdrawal from school. But we didn't want to lose him because he was already a senior, and he was already complete with everything except for 2 classes. So she asked, Isela, can we enroll him in Odysseyware even though technically he's not going to be enrolled in school? But once he completes it, we can change his lever and he'll actually graduate and walk the stage. So we said, absolutely, let's just make sure, let's look at what his grades were. We're probably going to have to drop him down to the minimum plan, which was the old graduation requirements. They changed it now. So we verified his transcripts and we put him in those 2 Odysseyware classes. He completed them and he actually graduated. And a week before graduation, his grandma called the school and asked, and I'm going to tell you in Spanish, I'm probably going to mess it up. She called and said, ¿Dónde puedo comprar la tela para hacer el traje de graduación? Where can I buy the material so I can make his graduation cap and gown? And we told her, don't worry. We already ordered it for him. He just has to come and walk the stage. And so he did. And this is one of our students that actually did graduate from UISD. So I know sometimes people think, well, it's just a small population, it really doesn't matter, but in Texas public schools, we're responsible for every student that comes in and out, and not just for them to learn the academics, but also they have those skills that I cannot even imagine. I mean, we're very blessed with our lives, but we have to be available and afford them the opportunities, and Odysseyware is one way that we're able to afford them those opportunities to graduate. So that was one special population that we've worked with. Are there any questions on migrant students? Another way that we've thought outside the box is called our PASS program, which is a positive approach to student success. This is a new initiative. This was our first year of implementing this initiative. I unfortunately was not part of the meetings when the main people came and created the parameters, but we did have parameters that were set forth for this. It was specifically for our LBJ High School at-risk population. The little girl Zulema from El Cenizo and the pictures that I showed you, those feed into our most needy school, which is LBJ High School. LBJ High School has 2,749 students. Out of that, 63% are considered at risk through the Texas Education Code, Chapter 39, Subchapter E, in that they're not passing their EOCs or their grade levels in 1 or more years. 28%, and they could be double, are limited English. So Spanish is their first language. This is their first year kids that are going to end up having a high school diploma. So what was happening is that some of these kids, they were just in and out because they were migrants, or they're just excessive absences because they maybe are still working to help their parents. Whatever issues life has thrown at them, they may have finished the classes, but then they just don't get the credits because of excessive absences. And a lot of them we found have met the graduation requirements, but they just don't have the credits. So we opened up PASS program. Now, it was implemented just at that high school because that's our high school with greatest need. In 2016-17, it was our first year that we implemented it. There was criteria that was established that the students did have to meet in order to be able to qualify. They had AM sessions and PM sessions. It was portable outside of LBJ High School, so they were dropped off at the school, but they weren't able to go into the school property. They were in the portable outside of school property. They could go in the morning, they could go in the afternoon. The curriculum that they used was completely Odysseyware, but we as a district used those, now they have the PEMS, but before they didn't, so we get the Common Core, we had teachers come in and tailor it to our curriculum. The students attended the course, in the portable, they never left. Food was brought to them and there was a bathroom out there. There were 41 students that enrolled, met criteria and enrolled. 14 that did not complete it. They either they dropped out, they got arrested, they went to an alternative school. They just didn't finish the PASS program. And 27 students finished at least one class. So 66% of the students that finished at least one class. For 12th grade, we had 14 students enrolled. Out of those 14, 11 were able to catch up to their cohort, and they actually did walk the stage. They did graduate. So that's 79% of the students that were enrolled in that PASS program. We had 6 11th grade students, and 5 of them did at least pass one course so that they could catch up to their cohorts. We had 15 from 10th grade that were enrolled, and 9 of them, 60% of them, did at least pass one class to continue on for their cohort. And from the freshman class, there were 6 students, and 2 did finish at least one course. So PASS has shown to be successful, but it seems this first year out of the gate that it's tailored more towards our 12th graders and our 11th graders who are now at the 11th hour and need to get it together so that they can graduate. We are going to continue with PASS program, but we're still going to only leave it at that school because that's the school with greatest need, and that's the school where we needed to think outside the box, and Odysseyware was one way that we could help those kids. Now, like I've said before, we do have parameters, so it's not free reign. It's very structured from central office down. We lock courses that are not available, the Common Core courses. We've tailored those, so they'll only be able to see like UISD English 1, UISD English 2. They won't see all of the Odysseyware classes. We also are on accelerated block, so we schedule them we set up the calendars to match our calendar for first semester and second semester so that it can pace the kids accordingly. And then we also developed an online system to track the students, and it's a UISD created online system, and it gives access to all of the different people, and it gives them different rights. So the counselors from each of the high schools will actually go into the online system. They'll type in the student's name. There's a drop down for what classes they want the kids to take. They have to upload files, so it's completely paperless. So they'll put in the student's transcript so that I can verify that the kids do need that class. They'll put in the schedule so that we can make sure that there's no teacher that the student can take this class with. And then we'll also put in, there's a special education area for our students that are in special education, because the ARD committee needs to agree that the child is going to take it online and that they're going to take it in that type of classroom setting, and so that we can make sure that a special ed certified teacher is there during that block. So all of that has been, we have those parameters to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And that's also just in case we ever were to get audited by TEA, that we do have, it's not just free reign, we do have parameters that were set forth in documentation to follow through. These kids probably are not getting ADA, or we'll have them take the extra class, and we try to make sure that they're in there with the amount of minutes that are required now. So these kids will probably already have been dropped out. So some of them just will stay there, or they'll get the tutorials during that time, or we'll give them an extra class to make sure that they do qualify for ADA. Mm-hmm. And we're also now a district of innovation, so we've just so that correct. And I did want to mention that, again, I'm just one person that I'm able to, it's not me. I can't take credit. It's our teachers. I have to say, United High School, Glenda Barrera, United South High School, Olga Rodriguez, top-notch teachers, really committed to Odysseyware. If I text her right now and she's on vacation, she will text me back. They stay there during what we call a 0 hour. So our kids will come in, they can come in the morning, they can come in at lunch, they can come in after school and take those Odysseyware classes. And the teachers just mark down, the kids sign when they came in, when they came out, and we pay them in addition to whatever their schedule is. The little migrant child, the 2 kids that I showed you, we signed federal program information. We asked them if they wanted to go ahead and do it, and so they'll come in and they'll mark down and log when they were assisting the kids, 11 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night. LBJ High School, Miss Mariano's there. Step Academy, that's our alternative campus, and that one, he really gets his money's worth because it's such a high rotation of in and out And it's our kids that are sent to alternative, that's the alternative campus, so it's anywhere from 6th through 12th grade. Sometimes we do get elementary kids that go in there. And you only have one English teacher, one math teacher, and they're teaching all the different grade levels, so Odysseyware helps us. And like Judy was talking about, Judy's our director for technology and curriculum. We've got those kids that are in and out, so parents move around a lot. I'm at United, and then I withdrew, and then I went to LBJ, and then I got in trouble, and then I went to STEP, and then I got out, and then I went to United South High School. So when they're there, we're able to track them, and we can pick up where they left off. And also because they'll come in the middle of nowhere, and the counselors will say, oh, well, Judy was taking this class, and we're able to, remember, we're on accelerated block, so we'll tell them, no, she took it last 9 weeks, and it's a 9-week class, so if she's going to take it, she's got to start all over again. It's kind of like if she was in a classroom, we don't tell them, well, put your head down and pick it up after 6 weeks, because you already finished that. And then when they enroll, they start all over again. So Odysseyware has been able to help us with that. And I really just wanted to give a shout out to the teachers. They didn't come because they're on vacation, and they say, don't bother me. No, they're good. But it's not possible without them. It really does take a village to raise a child. So I wanted to give them a shout out. And my name is Isela Gerald, and I kept my time even though I was 10 minutes short. That's my number, and I don't know if that's going to be Christina's number, because call me and I'll transfer to you. I'm always here. If you have any ideas, I do recommend that you speak with your administration to see how you can use Odysseyware to benefit your kids, because the flexibility that we have for it is amazing. So it really has met our standards, and we do make sure that I'm all about compliance, so I do make sure that we are within the letter of the law and the parameters that the state of Texas or Texas Education Agency has set forth when we're talking about online curriculum and credit recovery. Are there any questions for me? Thank you so much. I know you all are thinking about lunch, and it's coming right up. I'll be over here if you need me. Thank you.